Yes, we can start, Bante.
Okay. So हम जो ओपनिंग चैंटिंग है वो और फिर उसके साथ इतिपिसो करेंगे और इतिपिसो को डू इट इन पाली एंड इंग्लिश और कोशिश करेंगे कि उसका जो मीनिंग्स हैं और उसके जो भाव हैं वो हमें थोड़ा थोड़ा धीरे धीरे कैप्चर होने लगे. सो विल टेक दैट अप्रोच. यो सो भगवा अरहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो आखातो येन भगवता धम्मो सुपटिपन्नो यस्य भगवतो सावकसंघो तन्मयं भगवन्तं सधम्मं ससङ्घम् हि साकारे हि यथारहं आरोपिते हि अभिपूजयामा. वे जो है अरहं भगवान सम्यक संबुद्ध, भगवान के द्वारा अच्छी तरह समझाया गया धर्म, धर्म के मार्ग को अच्छी तरह प्रतिपादित करने वाले भगवान के श्रावक संघ, उन भगवान बुद्ध, धर्म और संघ की हम यथोचित सत्कार से पूजा करते हैं. कारुणो भन्ते भगवा शुचिर परिनिवृतोऽपि पाच्छमा जनतानुकम्पमानसा इमे साखारे दुगतपणाकारे भूते पटिगन्हातु अंहागंगीघरतं हिताय सुखाय. हमारा सौभाग्य कि भगवान को महान निर्वाण की प्राप्ति के बाद भी आगे आने वाली पीढ़ी पर अनुकंपा थी. आदर पूर्वक दी गई ये तुच्छ भेंट कृपया स्वीकार करें. हमारे दीर्घकालिक हित और सुख के लिए. अरहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो भगवा बुद्धं भगवन्तं अभिवादिमि. वाखातो भगवता धम्मो धम्मं सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो संघं नमामि. अरहं भगवान सम्यक संबुद्ध, भगवान बुद्ध का मैं अभिवादन करता हूँ. भगवान के द्वारा अच्छी तरह समझाया गया धर्म, उस धर्म को मैं नमन करता हूँ. भगवान के श्रावक संघ जिन्होंने मार्ग को अच्छी तरह प्रतिपादित किया, उस संघ को मैं नमन करता हूँ. हन्दमयं बुद्धस्य भगवतो बुद्धभागनमकारं करोमसे. नमो तस् भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स. नमो तस् भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स. नमो तस् भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स. नमस्कार ने जो हैं अरहंत भगवान सम्यक संबुद्ध. नमस्कार उन्हें जो हैं अरहंत भगवान सम्यक संबुद्ध. नमस्कार उन्हें जो हैं अरहंत भगवान सम्यक संबुद्ध. जो स्टैंडर्ड थेरावादा ट्रेडिशन में बुद्ध धम्म संघ के गुणों की जो चैंट है वो अब हम करेंगे। और यूजुअली हम इसको एक रिचुअलिस्टिक तरीके से काफ़ी हाई स्पीड में कर जाते हैं। तो हम कोशिश करेंगे कि ये जो तीन इसके आयाम है, तीन अंग हैं, बुद्ध धम्म और संघ, इनको हम तोड़ तोड़ के करेंगे, पाली में और फिर हिंदी में, ताकि वो जो वर्ड्स हैं जो कि हम यूजुअली काफ़ी हाई स्पीड से करते हैं, हमें कुछ कुछ उन शब्दों के मतलब समझ आने लगे। और फिर हम ये कोशिश करें कि हमारे अपने जीवन में ये गुण कुछ हद तक हम कल्टीवेट करने की स्थिति में बने। सो दैट रियली इज द पॉइंट ऑफ दिस, सो encouraging us all to approach it with that intention. इति पिसो भगवा अरहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो विद्याचरण संपन्नो सुगतो लोकविदु अनुत्तरो पुरुषदम धम्म सारथी सार्थादेव मनुस्सानं बुद्धो भगवाति। ऐसे हैं वे भगवान अरहंत सम्यक संबुद्ध, ज्ञान और आचरण से संपन्न, सुगत एवं लोक ज्ञाता, मनुष्यों को संयमित करने वाले अनुपम सारथी, देवों और मनुष्यों के शास्ता भगवान बुद्ध। वाखातो भगवता धम्मो संदिग्धिको अकालिको येहिपस्सिको भोपनयको पच्छत्तं वेदितव्यो विन्युहीति। जो धर्म भगवान ने भली भांति समझाया, स्पष्ट दिखाई देने वाला, कालातीत, अन्वेषणा को प्रोत्साहित करने वाला, अंतर्मुखी करने वाला, प्रत्येक प्रज्ञावान को व्यक्तिगत रूप से अनुभव होने वाला, सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो, उजुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो, न्यायपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो, सामीचिपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो। यदिदं चत्तारि पुरुषयोगानि अट्ठपुरुषपुद्गला, ये स भगवतो सावक संघो। आहुनेयो आहुनेयो दक्षिणेयो अंजलिकरणियो अनुत्तरं पुण्यखेतं लोकस्या। धर्म के मार्ग को अच्छी तरह प्रतिपादित करने वाले भगवान के श्रावक संघ, धर्म के मार्ग को सीधे प्रतिपादित करने वाले भगवान के श्रावक संघ, धर्म के मार्ग को ज्ञान पूर्वक प्रतिपादित करने वाले भगवान के श्रावक संघ, धर्म के मार्ग को निष्ठा पूर्वक प्रतिपादित करने वाले भगवान के श्रावक संघ, जो हैं 4 युगल और 8 प्रकार के आर्य, ऐसे हैं भगवान के श्रावक संघ। वे हैं भेंट देने योग्य, आतिथ्य के योग्य, दक्षिणा देने के योग्य और नमस्कार के योग्य। वे हैं इस लोक में अतुलनीय पुण्य क्षेत्र। एक बार और कर लेते हैं। अक्सर हमारे टीचर्स जो हैं, अगर कोई पर्टिकुलर चैंट होती है जिसका उनको लगता है उस समय पर खास सिग्निफिकेंस है, या वो चाहते हैं कि जो लोग इकट्ठा हुए हैं वो उसको और गहराई से ग्रहण करें या याद रखें, सो वी ऑफन रिपीट देम. So maybe at least let's repeat it once before we sit down quietly, so that in our quiet time we are able to perhaps at least latch on to one or two of these qualities and then consider कि उनका हमारे लिए क्या मतलब है. And often there is lack of clarity or confusion, or we have multiple interpretations of the same thing. So we'll have Mr. Dhar join us in some time, So we can perhaps check that. For example, मैं इसको recite कर रहा था, तो ये जो पच्छतंग वेदी तब्बो विन्यू ही है, उसका जो ट्रांसलेशन है कि प्रत्येक प्रज्ञावान को व्यक्तिगत रूप से अनुभव होने वाला है. Then appears that this the pratyek pragyavan, the pragya appears to be a prerequisite for starting. So that's something that doesn't sit very easily with me. So for example, so is tarike se I would encourage us to perhaps approach this whole chant now with some inquisitiveness, perhaps even some questioning, perhaps some criticality. इति पिसो भगवारहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो विद्याचरण संपन्नो सुगतो लोकविदु अनुत्तरो पुरुषधम्म सारथी सत्ता देव मनुस्सानं बुद्धो भगवाति. ऐसे हैं वे भगवान अरहंत सम्यक संबुद्ध, ज्ञान और आचरण से संपन्न, सुगत एवं लोक ज्ञाता, मनुष्यों को संयमित करने वाले अनुपम सारथी, देवों और मनुष्यों के शास्ता भगवान बुद्ध. स्वाख्यातो भगवता धम्मो संदिग्धिको अकालिको एहिपस्सिको ओपनायको पच्छतंग वेदितब्बो विन्योहीति. जो धर्म भगवान ने भली भांति समझाया, स्पष्ट दिखाई देने वाला, कालातीत, अन्वेषणा को प्रोत्साहित करने वाला, अंतर्मुखी करने वाला, प्रत्येक प्रज्ञावान को व्यक्तिगत रूप से अनुभव होने वाला है. उपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो, उजुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो, न्यायपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो, सामीचिपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो. यदिदं चत्तारि पुरुषयुगानि अट्ठपुरुषपुद्गला, एष भगवतो सावक संघो. आहुनेयो पाहुनेयो दक्षिणेयो अंजलिकर्ण्यो अनुत्तरं पुण्यखेतं लोकशान्ति. धर्म के मार्ग को अच्छी तरह प्रतिपादित करने वाले भगवान के श्रावक संघ, धर्म के मार्ग को सीधे प्रतिपादित करने वाले भगवान के श्रावक संघ, धर्म के मार्ग को ज्ञान पूर्वक प्रतिपादित करने वाले भगवान के श्रावक संघ, धर्म के मार्ग को निष्ठा पूर्वक प्रतिपादित करने वाले भगवान के श्रावक संघ, जो हैं 4 युगल और 8 प्रकार के आर्य, ऐसे हैं भगवान के श्रावक संघ. वे हैं भेंट देने योग्य, आतिथ्य के योग्य, दक्षिणा देने के योग्य और नमस्कार के योग्य. वे हैं इस लोक में अतुलनीय पुण्य क्षेत्र. ओके दीपक, बैक टू यू.
ठीक है, अब हम 7:30 तक मेडिटेशन करेंगे और उसके बाद हम थेरगाथ सेशन को स्टार्ट करेंगे.
Namaste.
Sir, good morning or good night for you, is it?
It's 4 a.m. Namaste. Namaste.
Sir, before Deepak starts, आज हम लोग इतनी पैसों की सुबह चैंटिंग कर रहे थे. So मुझे एक ख्याल आया कि वो जो पच्चतंग वेदी तब वो विन्यूही का जो आपने ट्रांसलेशन दिया है, उसको वो इस तरीके से समझना कि some level of pragya is a prerequisite to start का एक interpretation है, but are there other ways to see it also? Because that seems to be somewhat like a rarefied interpretation in light of the graduated path and all that business to do with dan, etc. So I was wondering if there is some other way to also read it, है ना? क्योंकि आपने जैसे बताया and we've discussed it many times, प्रत्येक प्रज्ञावान को व्यक्तिगत रूप से अनुभव होता है. So व्यक्तिगत रूप से अनुभव होता है is okay, but प्रत्येक प्रज्ञावान seems to assume that there is that level, some pragya.
Pragya शब्द शायद exact ना हो, but vinyo means who has some element of wisdom. Obviously it doesn't mean he's established in pragya. कुछ शब्द और शायद कर सकते थे. समझदार को ऐसा कह सकते हैं.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the issue, no? So in some senses there is a pre-filter operating, huh? I'm getting at that point. Whatever may be the word, set aside the semantics.
If you want to question it, you'll have to talk to Lord Buddha.
हाँ, मैं वही सोच रहा था. कई बातें अब ऐसी आ गई हैं.
बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसी आ गई हैं.
कई आ गई हैं जो बिल्कुल
not just one.
अजीब लगती हैं.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but what's your reading? I mean, I was going to try and see, like Ajahn Punnadhamma also has an essay on this.
Something similar to little dust in their eyes.
Correct. So how do you understand it? I know, but what is your spin on it, or are there multiple spins on it by different people? That was the issue.
For example, one of the common ones is कि भाई जब वो भगवान कहते हैं ना कि मैं नहीं पढ़ाने वाला, कि यार लोग तो संसार तो इसमें सुख लेने में, संसार में सुख लेने में इतने डूबे हुए हैं, उनको ये आपकी बात कहाँ समझ जाएगी? Which is exactly the same thing, because it is going against the worldliness. You can check translation in other traditions. I think everywhere you'll find.
Yeah, translation तो ठीक है. Issue is interpretation.
हाँ, interpretation तो वही है. Little dust in their eyes.
So it begins with the assumption that one has realized to some extent the limitations of worldliness.
Yeah, that is inescapable. उसमें कोई doubt नहीं. Because उतना डिटेल में दिया हुआ भगवान ने. The initial thinking in the mind of the Lord is this exactly. This teaching is so subtle that people who are totally immersed in क्या word use करते हैं वो, in seeking worldly happiness, they will never appreciate it. So you can refer to the original sutta and check up the exact words. See, something to that effect.
And then worldliness is defined as
seeking, entirely immersed in world to seek happiness. It is given in as many words by the Buddha himself.
आर्य परियसना की बात कर रहा हूँ. You're talking about Arya Pariyasna.
Yeah.
So then we also have to.
आपके पास लैपटॉप है क्या?
हाँ, मैं खोल रहा हूँ. आर्य परियसना मैं खोल रहा हूँ. So then you have to abandon this notion के So then how do you reconcile that with the notion ke हाँ it's a teaching for everybody, सब लोग आओ सुनो देखो whatever? How do you reconcile with that?
The issue is that anybody can listen to it, but who will really be able to? So इस पे नटखट मोड़ में
नहीं, क्योंकि धर साहब क्या हुआ है ना, because we were discussing
आप खोलो ना आर्य परियोजना खोलो, वो क्लियर हो जाए.
ये इनका ट्रांसलेशन मिला है अभी मुझे अपने थानेसरो का, है ना.
That's fine.
When Shant is there, always only Thanesaro's translations turn up. ऐसा होता है.
अच्छा.
Okay. Okay. दीपक तुम शेयर कर दो, ये लो मैं तुम्हें दे रहा हूँ. Everybody can see it. ये लो. And I would request you specifically, once Deepak displays it, maybe to explain the concept of worldliness, है ना, क्योंकि कुछ डिस्कशन मेरा माता जी के साथ भी कल रात को हो रहा था in the context of the whole business of Theragāthā. So the difficulty now I realize is that whole Nekhamma Sitani starts with the assumption of seeing through worldliness. And maybe that is the hindrance we are facing, कि हमने उसको अभी समझा नहीं है कि exactly क्या है. और फिर आज सुबह की chanting में फिर से आया इतिपिसो की chanting में. Anyway, here it is, Dharsa. Where do you want Deepak to go?
आगे where the discussion starts. काफी आगे. Yeah, there's alar kalam से आगे आएगा. ब्रह्मा सैंपति तक पहुंच जाए, you can search there. उससे पहले ये तो अभी वही कह रहे हैं ना कि आप आओ और move further. उद्धक रामपुत्र से भी आगे. Yes.
Acha, then the thought occurred to me.
Yeah.
This Dhamma that I have attained is deep, hard to see, hard to realize, peaceful, refined, beyond the scope of conjecture, subtle, to be experienced by the wise. Oh, यहाँ से आया है वो शब्द.
Yes. विन्यो ही का मतलब wise translation कर दिया. तो आप कहोगे पहले ही wise है तो फिर
exactly. So then what's the exactly? Yeah, no, truly. I mean, jokes apart.
Yeah. He means by wise he means some basic element of seeking in the opposite direction. आगे पूरा पढ़ लो, clear हो जाएगा.
But this generation delights in attachment, is excited by attachment, enjoys attachment. For a generation delighting in attachment, excited by attachment, enjoying attachment, that conditionality and dependent co-arising are hard to see. This state too is hard to see. That is the resolution of all fabrications, the relinquishment of all acquisitions, the ending of craving.
This basic definition जो आती है.
Nirvana.
संखार संबतो सब उपाधि पटिनि सगो तन्हा खयो विरागो निरोधो निब्बानो. You can see ये बहुत मुश्किल है भाई.
ये समझना मुश्किल है. And if I were to teach the dharma and others would not understand me, that would be tiresome for me, troublesome for me.
Yeah.
ओहो, ये तो चीज आप रोज ही सोचते हो धर साहब, ये वही चीज है।
ये तो एग्जैक्टली क्या मतलब, हम कोई एग्जैगरेशन थोड़ा कह रहे हैं, एग्जैक्टली दे आर द वर्ड्स ऑफ द बुद्धा यार। Then is again reaching, explaining it in verse, if it was not enough. आगे वर्स में भी यही बात कही जा
अच्छा,
रही है।
इनफ नाउ विद टीचिंग what only with difficulty I reached. This dharma is not easily realized by those overcome with aversion and passion.
अब बचा क्या बताओ? If one is overcome with this, you cannot realize it. He himself is. The Lord is himself saying. Next is makes it even more clear, going against the flow.
What is abstruse, subtle, deep, hard to see, going against the flow, those delighting in passion cloaked in the mass of darkness will not see. As
There
I
are stronger words.
as I reflected, thus my mind inclined to dwelling at ease, not to teaching the dharma.
It's quite clear, in quite substantial detail. The Lord is saying.
So जो आप worldliness कहते हो, that is all this business of overcome with aversion and passion. ये जो हिसाब किताब है.
Delighting in passion.
And passion has a broad, very, very, very broad
Yeah.
interpretation.
Next line में लिखा ना, going against the flow, those delighting in passion. मतलब हम सब लोग जो फ्लो के साथ चल रहे हैं, वो वही लोग हैं जो फैशन, जो कि सांसारिक सुख की तलाश का
And
सारा
Sansaric Sukh has
उद्देश्य.
a very broad definition.
Yeah,
Sansaric Sukh is
passion
not
is a
necessarily somebody who is drinking alcohol all the time, for example.
no. I'm not delighting in passion means you're
तो करो, थोड़ा define करो आप उसको, for example.
नंदी राग सहगता.
Yeah, so what are more wholesome passions, for example? क्योंकि passion का हमारा connotation unwholesome है, but अब यहाँ ये कहा जा रहा है कि even जैसे कल discussion हुआ ना दान वाला, for example, even wholesome passions are
आप इसका अगर आप इसका पाली ढूंढ लोगे ना, you will get absolute clarity. I don't remember which exactly is the word used, but that will get absolutely. पाली वर्षन डाल दो.
हाँ मैं कर रहा हूँ. But I mean, even setting aside the Pali word, जो passion का दायरा है, maybe if you will explain that, or you mean the word will give that, is it?
Word will give that, yeah. Both languages करो ना, side by side उसको करो. ये है ना पाली इंग्लिश side by side. Yeah. ठीक है, it'll take some time. Scroll कर लो. Let us read that whole. Yeah. Alaya Rama. Alaya Rama means they want to live in the house. Alaya uसी को अनालयो. So they take pleasure in these things, worldly things. Actually, exactly.
Yeah, that's a दिक्कत है ना वर्ल्डली को. Each of us thinks कि हम वर्ल्डलीनेस में नहीं फंसे हुए ना. That is exactly the issue that I'm trying to get you to address.
हाँ, आलय का मतलब कि हमारा जो domain of research है, it is only governed by seeking delight. That is its fundamental feature. Seeking delight in the worldly sense impressions.
Yeah, that phrase is quite cryptic. It appears to me to suggest somebody who is grossly every day, like I told you, drinking alcohol, eating a lot of food, trying to earn a lot of money. That's what it implies to me.
Really, not really. But it depends. Yeah, one could put it in that.
So what does it imply other than that? What innocuous things will get covered under this, which typically we are involved with, but that would construe all this Ale Rama business, and therefore that serve as blocks.
It is hard for them to see. ये देखो ना आगे ये लिखा है इदम पिखो ठानम दुद्धस्तम यदिदम. ये बहुत मुश्किल है उनके लिए देखना. क्या मुश्किल है? सारे संस्कारों का शमन करना, सारी अटैचमेंट्स को ड्रॉप करना, कृष्णा का समाप्त करना, पैशन को ड्रॉप करना. ये है ना विरागो, इसको कहा है ना उन्होंने. एंड सो ऑन. ये उनके लिए समझना ही मुश्किल. दैट इज द पॉइंट बीइंग मेड.
So in that sense, worldliness includes absolutely everything that we do.
Yeah.
Everything. It's not only grossly unwholesome, but
Yeah.
also wholesome things. That's what I want. That's what I'm trying to get you to address. Basically.
Yeah, this is it. It's very clearly said. ये चीज उनके समझ ही नहीं आएगी बिकॉज वो और दे आर गोइंग इन द अपोजिट डायरेक्शन. ऊपर भी होगा ना वो अगेंस्ट द फ्लो वाला वर्ड देख लेते हैं. आले रामा को प्रजा अनाय प्रजा. ये जो प्रजा है, ये लोग हैं, वो अटैच होने में प्रसन्नता रखते हैं. फाइंड जॉय इन अटैचमेंट. आलय समुदिता, आलय रता, उसी में रथ है. अटैचमेंट में ही रथ है और उसी में मुदिता होती है. Attachment to the happiness. Obviously, nobody will be attached to unhappiness. Worldly happiness जो आती है उसको attached.
Yeah, point is worldly happiness आती है. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि वो वर्ल्डली हैप्पीनेस में तो मैं नहीं अटका हुआ हूँ क्योंकि इट इज प्रीटी
सारे
ग्रॉस.
संस्कारों में तो अटकूं. संस्कारों का शमन ये बड़ा मुश्किल है. इस सेंस में देखोगे तो एवरीथिंग विल गेट इन. सब उपाधि, सारे जीवन और उपाधियों को चक्कर में पड़े हुए हैं. इन द सेंस ऑफ कलेक्टिंग आइडेंटिटीज मोर एंड मोर. मेरे नाम के पीछे कितनी डिग्रीज लगे हैं. It's making a very broad statement of seeking pleasant, seeking the worldly joys. सारे संस्कारों के कारण वो कहने संस्कारों का शमन करना है. हमारी सारी टेंडेंसी संस्कारों को बढ़ाने की. हमारी सारी टेंडेंसी उपाधियों को इकट्ठा करने की, वो करें उनको त्याग करना,
including
हमारी
wholesome.
क्या तन्हा को क्षय करना है। तन्हा है कि तन्हा का मतलब क्या है? नंदी राग सहगता, it goes along with seeking delight. आयं धम्मो सुसंबुद्धो, ये ठीक से समझ नहीं आने वाला है। किनको? राग दोष परेति ही, जो कि राग और द्वेष में फंसे हुए हैं। और आगे पढ़ लो। पटिशोतगामी निपुण, जो स्ट्रीम चल रही है उसके अपोजिट डायरेक्शन में जाना। राग रताना दखनती, जो राग में फंसे हुए हैं वो देख नहीं सकते। तमो खंदेन आवुट्टा, तम अंधकार में के, मास ऑफ डार्कनेस, खंड में, अंधकार का खंड बना दिया उन्होंने, जिसमें वो आवृत है, वो जिसने पर्दा लगा रखा हो। ये सारी हमारी डेफिनेशन है बनते ही।
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, I'm trying to like frame it in a way that जो हम सामान्य group members हैं, we don't identify with things like passion and so forth, है ना? जबकि
No, but
it covers that. तो इसलिए that is
yeah,
what my not so noble search right now is.
yeah, नहीं वेरी, ये दिखाओ क्लियर है ना, राग रता, हम सब राग में फंसे हुए हैं। सारी हमारी टेंडेंसी यही है, अपना राग में भटकने की टेंडेंसी तो है। That's how the worldliness is basic, seeking light in the world, which means उसके प्रति राग है हमारा। राग में हम रत, पटिशोतगामी, दिस वर्ड इज सो पावरफुल। स्ट्रीम, जो संसार की स्ट्रीम बह रही है, उससे अपोजिट जाना, उसको वो नहीं देख पाएंगे। इट्स वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग वर्ड्स। बाद में उसको उन्होंने सिर्फ विन्यो ही कह के काम चला लिया।
I have a lot of problem in assimilating.
It's not just those things associated with breaking of Shila. This simple normal life is talking. So-called normal life is all governed by flowing along the stream of raga. Now, Nandi raga sahagata. Yatra tatra 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 abhinandani. कभी यहाँ सुख देख लें, कभी वहाँ ढूंढ लें। This is what we are doing. I mean, come to look at it dispassionately. What is governing us to do whatever everybody is doing? Just seeking delight. Only the type of delight may vary with different people. That's all. It's all governed by Nandi, Rag, and trying to get joy here and there. That is money, position, wealth, job, and various sensitive pleasures. वही तो स्ट्रीम तो वही चल रही है। तुलसी का क्या विचार? Am I audible?
Yeah, I mean, you're audible to me. I'm trying to assimilate, and I'm in a state of confusion.
Yeah, we can reflect on it deeply because these things, words are quite clear. Absolutely.
फिर ऐसा लगता है कि कुछ जो भी काम कर रहे हैं, स्पेसिफिकली आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट माई सेल्फ, वो सब नहीं करना चाहिए.
वो ऐसा नहीं कह रहे.
गलत या सही की बात मैं नहीं कह रही हूँ.
जी 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 जी, वो कह रहे हैं कि जो भी काम कर रहे हैं हम लोग, वो राग से और सांसारिक सुख की प्रेरणा से प्रेरित है. वो अगर मैत्री और करुणा के भाव से प्रेरित हो तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं.
मगर
आफ्टर ऑल बुद्धा हिमसेल्फ डिड सो मच वर्क. उनसे ज्यादा काम
मुझे
किसने
यही
किया होगा.
बिल्कुल मुझे यही सवाल होता था कि आई मीन
बट उनकी प्रेरणा क्या थी, उनका वोल्यूशन क्या था. बहुजन हिताय बहुजन सुखाय. तो जहाँ तक जिस डायमेंशन तक हम उस प्रेरणा से प्रेरित होकर काम करेंगे, वो हमें बांधेगा नहीं. उसमें भी अगर बांधेगा नहीं, तब जब हमारे में इतनी विजडम होगी, उसके बाद हम बंध जाते हैं ना. Our idea is not, we're most of the time seeking delight in doing even noble things. वो बांध देता संसार चक्र में बांध. क्योंकि प्रज्ञा नहीं, जैसे कल भी चर्चा हो रही थी, आप होलसम चित्त से भी काम कर रहे हैं जिसमें लोभ नहीं है, दोष नहीं है, लेकिन प्रज्ञा नहीं है, तो भी वो बांध देगा. और अधिकतर टाइम तो हम लोग ना कहीं लोग किसी ना किसी लेवल तक तो रहता ही है. तो इसलिए वो काफी उसका डोमेन बहुत बड़ा है. बात का राग रहता, उसकी सटिलिटी है ना. जहाँ तक सेंस ऑफ सेल्फ रहेगी, वहाँ पे होलसम संखारा will result in wholesome birth, wholesome conditions. Being born in the higher realms of existence.
मैं अपना एग्जाम्पल शेयर डिस्कस करना चाहूंगी कि जैसे मैं जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ लिंक हूँ, मुझे इसमें पोजीशन नहीं चाहिए थी. आई वॉज जस्ट वर्किंग without any position. I did not want to name it. But ऐसी परिस्थिति आई कि when I had to sign, and I said I would sign it, but I don't have any position. And then there were pressures from wherever I had to sign के designation तो होना ही चाहिए. बिना designation you cannot sign. And that is how then the designation that I carry now, I had to create it. And least weighty designation, least attached kind of designation, I suggested that this is what maximum I can go in for. But I had to have that designation. I did not want it because I was very clear that I would definitely do whatever is necessary here, but without any designation. And then I was drawn into that.
I'll present to you an alternative scenario rather than giving a response. कितने 31 योग या कितने यौन पहले पंडित सुमेध Dipankar Buddha के समक्ष आए, and he had the ability to become fully liberated there. And he took upon himself, मैं अकेला नहीं होऊंगा, मैं तो हजारों को, लाखों, करोड़ों को liberate करूंगा. Very wholesome, very wholesome motivation, isn't it? But there was a sense of self. And what was the result? He went through lives after lives after lives after lives. Incalculable, कितने कहते हैं, 8 संख्य, 1 लाख कल्प, कितने, or whatever that number means. With that wholesome motivation, he had to go through that and suffer. Every life suffer in different proportions. So that example is before us. What could be a greater and nobler motivation than that? So nobility of the motivation doesn't ensure freedom from the cycle of birth and death. And same person, I mean, same quote unquote same person, when he becomes fully liberated, he says, "मैं कहाँ फंसना, मुझे नहीं पढ़ाना तुमको." Just see the transformation. Who started this huge enterprise with that huge motivation कि मुझे यही करना है. When he really gets enlightened, he says, नहीं, मुसीबत का काम छोड़ो ना. Somebody has to come and request him, please. Then out of compassion he does it, which is compassion with no sense of self involved in that. So that's how it seems so evident, the direction in which we have to go, manner in which we have to. It's very difficult, I don't deny it. But teaching the life of the Buddha is a living example. The person who could have been liberated millions of years ago had to go through so much of turmoil, so much of suffering. कभी किसी तरह का दुख, कभी किसी तरह का दुख, कभी किसी तरह की परेशानी. Born as an animal, born as a human being, born as a king, even had to go through hell once. All due to that original noble motivation. तो आप इस पर विचार करिएगा. That should be a pointer to all of us.
मैं और सोचूंगी, मगर मैं सचमुच में बहुत परेशान हूँ.
नहीं. You're doing such a wonderful service, but then there's something beyond that. That's the point. Having come across Buddha's teaching, I mean, the work you're doing are 108 vows to you. So noble. But that noble work will not lead to, by itself, it will not lead to birth in Brahma realm or somewhere. Certainly in higher Deva realms. But not freedom from suffering. I mean, complete freedom from suffering.
Yeah, I do understand it, and that is the reason why whatever comes, I hardly miss these sessions, morning, evening, was they help me to penetrate deeper.
जी, that's our, हमारी सबकी कोशिश वही है.
So that one thing becomes clear here, that in this tradition, personal liberation is the highest goal. Am I right in understanding that?
Well, in Theravada, you can say so. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it recognizes that there's a difference, that everybody cannot be a bodhisattva. There are conditions for that. While in other traditions, everybody can be a bodhisattva. So we don't want to get into that, but obviously this is, I mean, it's not a question of what is the final goal. I can choose my own goal. The issue is that if the goal is liberation from cycle, then this has to be done. If you want to break this cycle, then this has to be done. This is the path. That's it.
So I think next question is कि अब जो आपने कमेंट्री की और ये जो डिस्कशन था उसके आधार पे ऐसा लगता है कि सब लोगों को सब कुछ जो कर रहे हैं वो छोड़ देना चाहिए ना. That's the next logical inference from this. So maybe the next thing you can make commentary on is कि what is really the point there? What is the is it the issue of कि मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, or is it the issue of the chetana behind it? So maybe if you comment on that, then it also becomes clearer to everybody, because it's everybody's thing ना कि क्या हम लोग सब लोग सब कुछ छोड़ दें. That's the point.
Yeah, the point really is everywhere. This मैंने भारती जी को कहा भी था कि हमारा इंटेंशन क्या है, मोटिवेशन क्या है, वोल्यूशन क्या है, किस पोजीशन से हम एक्टिविटी कर रहे हैं. Obviously, when we are not exposed to such teachings, our volition as a good person is to do good to others. Whether it is family, whether it is children, whether it is society, and that's a wholesome volition. But if we want to move up, to transcend this cycle of birth and death, that wholesome volition is not sufficient. It has to be, it has to include the right view, which means understanding it. You can put it in different words, right? You can put it in different words. The simplest would be see as things as they really are, which means we are not individual entities. The whole notion that I am an individual is a trap. It's so counterintuitive. If I investigate my motivations, I find governed by some craving, noble craving, or ignoble. We can leave aside ignoble thoughts. Noble craving. But हम एक्शन करते करते साथ साथ में अपनी संख्या बढ़ाते जाएं, अनित्य बोध बढ़ाते जाएं, दुख बोध बढ़ाते जाएं, अनात्म बोध बढ़ाते जाएं, then the path will be a graduated path. From worldly happiness, we move towards otherworldly happiness.
So what will that look like in a specific sense? What will it look like to do something with all these boths that you're talking about?
Yeah.
तो मुझे भी पता है, मैं भी अनित्य बोध ही बढ़ा रहा हूँ. मैं तो यही कहूंगा ना, क्या कर रहा हूँ मैं? What is different when I do an action with anitya bodh or whatever bodh, and how does that action look different when it is done without it? ये बताइए, आप स्पेसिफिकली बताइए धर साहब. ये शब्द तो हम सुनते आ रहे हैं, इससे तो कुछ नहीं हो रहा है.
नहीं, I mean, we have to take an example and then.
जैसे इन्होंने एग्जांपल दिया ना, मैंने पद लेने से मना कर दिया, तो अब बताओ आप करो इसको, क्या इसमें तो अच्छी बात है. सो नाउ देयर इज नो सेल्फ apparently.
Yeah, but the issue is that there is an attachment to the organization. then attachment that this work should continue. This is a noble thing. This should continue, and that it is getting continued because of me. If I'm not there, it will fall apart.
I think if it was so, I think it is not so. Let me say it that way. Because I have been right from the beginning that I started, 2014, that I took over the lead position. Because of certain reasons, I had to do it. Reasons beyond my control, because the person who was there was not able to continue because of her husband's terminal illness. And then either it was the organization could close down or I continued the leadership. So that's how I started. And right from day one, I was very clear that I'm here till the second leadership gets developed and takes over. And that has been my attempt right from the day one. And I have been successful in creating second leader of leadership. And that is why where I got little jolted when Dolly was one of the, there are three persons and then Dolly was one of them. And when she went away, that gave me a little jolt also. Uh, uh, and this is a nature, I know. That what I was looking at it, and then maybe I was just I'm phasing out, definitely. But then this has again put a brake on my phasing out. So,
That's why
and
the
I
issues of
know I'm not
issues of yeah.
indispensable that way.
That's why the issue of armies turns up, that the conditions don't allow us to move in the direction of what is most cherished, in the direction. The point is not of the
मेरे साहब फोन को थोड़ा मुंह के पास ले आओ. यू आर फेडिंग नाउ.
sword and
If you can stick it as close to your face as possible, it will help.
okay. The fact that you have been trying to get out but not able to get out is also has certain because of certain conditions. सुनाई दे रहा है कि नहीं?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
तो जो आर्मी का कॉन्सेप्ट है वो यही है कि हम चाहते हुए भी जिस डायरेक्शन में बढ़ना चाहते हैं बढ़ने में दिक्कत आ रही है. तो हम जितना टाइम जितना समय हम अपने को साधने में लगाना चाहते हैं, अपने को प्रज्ञा बढ़ाने में लगाना चाहते हैं, वो समय नहीं मिल पा रहा. So best to patiently wait for that. But one can still, even under these difficult conditions, one can change one's outlook, change one's intention, and minimize the kind of, or I would say, maximize the time available for me to move in the direction in which I should move. So obviously, there are reasons beyond our control for that. no doubt. But we have to see to what extent would they would I go, or would I follow the Bodhisattva idol, and to what extent follow the wish to practice more deeply and intensely, or devote more time to my spiritual pursuits. Also, one has to think carefully how really I use these conditions themselves, whatever conditions exist, to increase my pragya. I know you have been trying to do that. हम लोगों ने आपने इंटरेक्ट किया है उस डायरेक्शन में, तो आप कोशिश कर रही हैं. You can keep that ideal always in mind. और अगर 3 लोग आपने सेकंड लेवल किए हैं, 2 अवेलेबल हैं अभी भी, yeah, you can offload as much as possible, and as more than what you think should be done. जो perceptual issues है ना, वो we have to see them. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, because you have built up an organization and it's doing a noble work, but the fact that there is difficulty in comprehending the lakhanas properly means that more effort is needed in that direction. But if you don't have time, how will you do that? You have to one is to really think deeply and recalibrate the allocation of time, allocation of priority. Obviously, not an easy and a pleasant task. The extent to which this task is unpleasant is indicator of the extent to which I am attached to the. So it may sound very cruel of me to say that, but that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I do understand. Yeah, I do understand you very correctly, without any doubt. And that is why since yesterday evening I have been very troubled. I know that's a part of growing up.
Yeah. The fact that you are troubled is a very healthy sign, I would say, because it is, and for a person like Lee, it is leading to search. Buddha says, when one is troubled, it can lead to either increase of suffering or to noble search. Very clearly, there's a question asked: what is the vipak of suffering? There's 2 vipaks of suffering: more suffering, noble search.
Thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu.
So दरअसल it's the same issue then with everybody, हाँ, कि हमारी दिक्कत ये है कि हम 3 लक्षण, फॉर एग्जाम्पल परिवार के अपब्रिंगिंग में या जो भी सो कॉल्ड अच्छी चीजें हैं उसमें नहीं देख पाते हैं. That's really what the issue is.
Yeah, absolutely. Because all of us are doing in some way a work which is useful to the society.
Exactly. Yeah, right.
In some way or the other. We are not in that bracket where we still have to handle our shilas and other problems. So then it becomes even more difficult.
और
To
फिर जैसे
give up what you think is a noble work, what you think is a क्या कहते हैं, noble profession. It's so difficult.
I mean, it would also apply to, for example, earning livelihood for the family, bringing up a family, I don't know, looking after children, looking after parents, you know, all.
Yeah. While the importance of all that is recognized, the first priority, what is my first priority?
I mean, would you put it that way, or would you put it this way? Ki in doing that, am I trying to look for the three characteristics? Because when you put it that way, it always appears कि इसको छोड़ के वो करो. You know, that's the difficulty with framing it in the way you just framed it. That's the problem.
वो शब्द शायद ठीक नहीं हुआ है.
Yeah. What is my priority? That's a problem. No, that's where the problem starts. मेरी priority तो मेरे बच्चे ही हैं, or whatever, you know. है ना?
My priority is to get liberated, and for that, what is required? That I should use whatever situation exists in my life to increase my punya. That's it. As the Vedanta says, everything teaches us. So my life conditions are quite tough. Literally mean it. Quite tough. I look at it, family and all, very tough situations. So I have to really, and that's true of most of us. So we have to see within those situations, I don't lose sight of my main object. That's it. That's what I mean by giving priority. I don't lose sight of it. I don't mean that we give up family, we give up that. No, we don't lose sight. That is my first priority. And keep on checking. Am I doing things out of attachment? Am I doing things out of craving? Am I doing things out of getting more fame, name, whatever? That's it. So every activity, every point becomes a checkpoint for me.
और उसका इंडिकेटर जैसा आपने भी बताया, द चेक पॉइंट, not checkpoint, the symptom of doing something out of attachment is, as you mentioned, the difficulty that you encounter. Is it? No, you said something. I missed that point. I missed that word. जो दिक्कत हो रही है या जो तकलीफ हो रही है, so to say.
The resistance to drop attachment.
तो मुझे तो attachment नहीं है. That was the question. How do I measure कि attachment है कि नहीं? That was what you said. You said something.
Yeah, that is that. It's very what should be the right word? ये विचार कि मैं अगर इस तरह से काम नहीं करूंगा तो I'll put it other way around, maybe not good words, कि
If it was so.
क्या मैं हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, हर एक्टिविटी के अंदर निहित दुख बोध को पहचान रहा हूँ? Because dukh bodh is a very powerful teacher. उसके unsatisfactoriness को जान रहा हूँ. ठीक है, I'm trying my best, but things will take their own course.
And when they don't take the course I wish them to take, then the trouble that I encounter is indicative of
indicator of my attachment to that. I mean,
ये तो sorry.
In terms of family, we can see that.
ये तो पारिवारिक उसमें तो सब हमेशा होता रहता है यार, हर दिन होता है.
So that's what I was saying. In families, we can see this happening every now and then. Our difficulty in, I would say, our assumption that I would set everything right.
That day never comes.
Is quite often counterproductive. वो कहाँ पे कितना रिलैक्स करना है, कितना नहीं करना है, वो बड़ा डाइसी मामला हो जाता है. But that is where the surrender issue comes. Most of the time, with respect to family, we try to overcorrect. At least in Indian tradition. In other traditions, as I'm seeing, you just don't bother.
Yeah. Okay. So indifference versus excessive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Excessive grasping. So to strike a balance is quite tough. गलतियां होती रहती हैं either direction. So, but if you are mindful of the intention and mindful of what's going on in my mind space, तो पता चलता रहता है दुख बढ़ रहा है कि घट रहा है, बढ़ रहा है कि घट रहा है, अनित्य बोध पुष्ट हो रहा है कि अनात्म बोध पुष्ट. मैं उसको सेल्फ के व्यू से काम कर रहा हूँ कि seeing the truth as it is. बड़ी मुश्किल है. That's why we are practicing by fits and starts. भूल जाते हैं फिर करते हैं. नहीं, ऐसा सबका हमारे सबका अनुभव है. और कंडीशनलिटी ऐसी होती है कई बार हमारे पास्ट कर्मों का कैसा इफेक्ट रहता है तो चाहते हुए भी नहीं छूट पाते, पूरी कोशिश करते हुए भी नहीं छूट पाते, सालों बीत जाते हैं. Good.
Okay, very good. Would somebody like to say something or ask something in the next few minutes before I sort of maybe summarize it in the context of the longer discussion that's going on, जिसके वजह से ये आज सुबह हमने दीपक का सब hijack कर लिया. Sorry for that, Deepak.
No, so I think only one additional thing कि अभी जो SPG कह रहे थे कि इस ट्रेडिशन में पर्सनल लिबरेशन का महत्व है. मुझे लगा कि हमारे सारे इंडिक ट्रेडिशंस के अंदर ही अल्टीमेटली पर्सनल लिबरेशन की बात आती है जब हम वो मोक्ष की बात करते हैं. That was my only feedback.
Yeah.
The discussion was extremely helpful because it also very clearly talks, indicates a struggle that we will have to go through because we keep forgetting the basic things and we keep getting into something else. Although we are thinking that we are practicing, but then we lose track of the basic things like aditya, dukkha, and in our day-to-day experiences, even in our meditation. Sometimes we go off track on that. So I think the struggle is going to be. It's very clear. It's going to be a long. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, so basically जो हमारे थ्रू द वीक डिस्कशंस चल रहे हैं उसमें, क्योंकि अभी हम जो हाउस होल्डर से रिनंसिएट वाली ट्रांजिशन पे हमने पिछला एक हफ्ता बिताया है, सो इट अपियर्ड दैट उसका एक प्री कंडीशन यही चीज़ें रिकग्नाइज करना है, जिसकी कि आज हमने 1 घंटे चर्चा की, कि हम जो भी चीज़ें कर रहे हैं, जो भी चीज़ों में हम इन्वॉल्व हैं, उनकी एक निहित सीमा है, उनकी एक लिमिटेशन है। और जो इन अ सेंस जो भगवान बुद्ध का मार्ग है, जो स्पेशली जिसको हम निखम्म सतानी कह रहे हैं, वो शुरू ही वहां से होता है, इस बात को रिकॉग्नाइज करके। ये एजम्पशन है उसमें कि ये बात अब समझ आ गई है कि these are the limitations. So that was the context basically of this whole discussion, and it got triggered आज सुबह के chant से, जिसमें कि वो शब्द आया, which seems to assume that the path starts with a certain level of in understanding about the limitation of worldliness, so to say, or of whatever pursuits we are involved in, as long as those pursuits are not done in the context of 3 characteristics. So that was really the context of this. So once more, apologies to Deepak for hijacking the whole thing. Does have anything you'd like to say? I see your mic is on.
Thank you. Having such a fruitful discussion early in the morning when everybody is sleeping is a great blessing for me. And it gives me a chance to check every time. Check. You see, there's so much of unhappiness in the world. I've been here for just today, 2 weeks complete. The exposure to unhappiness is phenomenal. So, the Gaisatani, Domanasa, the unpleasant feelings keep on arising. You can see at the root of it is the sense of I, mine, mine. So when you look at the bigger picture, I mean, yesterday also I was contemplating कि भगवान ने बिल्कुल उल्टी बाहर कहानी चला दी इस बार. नॉर्मली कहते हैं when you experience suffering, observe it. दोष है, राग है, उसको देखो and let it pass. आप कह रहे हैं उसको बढ़ा दो. I mean, actually, he's asking us to take up, replace the worldly unhappiness by spiritual unhappiness, which is much more intense, the subtle, but much more intense. That I'm trapped in this cycle of birth and death. अभी मैं बाहर ही नहीं निकला. So it's a unique way of really handling suffering. So this way, you just effort to whatever different, how different it is from the whatever we have been studying in other sutras. So he says replace worldly unhappiness by spiritual unhappiness, which is cutting at your heart actually. So unless your heart is really pierced by that anguish of remaining in the cycle, next step is not going to happen. And it's a highly practical thing. A great reverence to the teacher. Really, your heart gets totally moved by how much compassion the teacher had to tell us in these different ways, depending on where we are. And at proper time, proper teaching emerges. Great. Just so humbling. Thank you very much, Bante.
Okay, very good. So we'll continue. ये श्रृंखला शाम को continue होगी. Sunday शाम को we'll have a bit of a break. So we'll spend the time being quiet because the rest of the week we have a lot of conversation and stimulation happening. और Mondays को हम actually ऐसा किया करेंगे that some of us from amongst us will share and present their own journey, especially पिछले 3 महीनों के context में किस तरीके से क्या उनके अपने चैलेंजेस आए हैं, किन चीज़ों से वो वाकिफ़ हुए हैं विद रिस्पेक्ट टू देयर ओन धर्मा जर्नी, और कैसे उसको ओवरकम किया है या कैसे वो अभी भी चालू है. सो हमारी कोशिश है कि मंडेज को रादर दैन हैविंग टीचिंग एंड डिस्कशन, हम एक्चुअली हम में से एक या 2 लोग कोई भी अपनी खुद की जर्नी शेयर करें. सो दैट्स व्हाट वील डू टुमारो. और फिर ट्यूसडे शाम से हम दोबारा से ये जो सीरीज चल रही है विद रिस्पेक्ट टू, राइट नाउ वी आर ऑन द इशू ऑफ फीलिंग्स, और फीलिंग्स में काफ़ी बड़ा बम्प आया है ये बिकॉज ऑफ दिस होल इशू ऑफ ट्रांजिशन फ्रॉम जो वर्ल्डली डोमेन से जो ट्रांसेंडेंटल डोमेन का ट्रांजिशन है उसमें आए हैं. सो विल बिगिन ऑन ट्यूसडे. अरहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो भगवान् बुद्धं भगवन्तं अभिवादयामि. वाकातो भगवता नमो नमः. सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो संघं.
Let's pay respect to Bhante ji. Bhav. Bhav. Bhav.
Very good. See you in the evening.
Namaskar.